right?
Sure.
Where your drink is on the menu, but they don't have that data.
Right.
And after a while, we found that there actually are competitors, but we didn't. But probably if we knew at the time, we probably wouldn't have started.
Right.
But then there's some in Israel. There's people doing it.
Okay.
There's actually in Miami a company. So there are a few.
Right. Okay.
But they're all doing it slightly differently,
Sure.
and yeah. So, but I think the whole it's big enough market, and it's just really currently just 3 people. So
Okay.
sort of keeping costs low.
Of course. I mean, that's the way to do it.
So that's basically why I'm interested in this. So basically, the idea is I would like to live somewhere else for a while. Only issue currently, apart from the only issue is our family. I have 2 kids.
Sure, yeah.
So and that is actually the main. So I just
You homeschool?
No. I live in Germany, so I'm from Germany, and homeschooling is
Wo in
not an
Deutschland?
option. Huh?
Wo in Deutschland?
Hamburg.
Hamburg. Bist du in Hamburg?
Ich bin nach Hamburg.
Ja. Ich habe in Würzburg gewohnt.
In Würzburg,
Ja.
Yeah. So let's see. Maybe if they're currently 10ish or 8 and 10, so if they get older, maybe it's easier for them to switch.
I mean, have you seen the families that travel around the world on YouTube? Have you seen any of them?
No, not following it closely.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of families that document it all on YouTube. There's one that does they have a sailboat and then they go around the whole world.
Yeah, that could be something maybe. Or I don't know how to sail, but it's
Is that a Zatara or sailing a vagabond?
I think it was traveling with kids, Karen or something like that. One of the 2. I have to look that one up because I know I talk about it later on in the series, but. Family travel, like for digital nomads, is becoming a big thing because a lot of families are just like, we want our kids very well cultured, and they're just like, why limit it to one area when there's so many resources out there, you know? So it's just like, I saw a TV show a long time ago where this family literally hopped on a cargo ship from California all the way to Japan, and that's how they travel. Like cargo ships, if you've ever been on a cargo ship, are super cheap to get on. Super cheap.
Well, tell me about the amenities on that.
How's the Wi-Fi?
Where's the pool? Where's the pool? That's funny.
But it's true because it's just like, you know, nobody ever thinks to get on a cargo ship and go travel because it's cargo.
Until I meet you. Tight budget, I got the boat for you.
Right.
Take a jacket and a pillow.
Hey, welcome. You're here for Digital Nomad?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, have a seat. Yeah.
I haven't met before, man. How are you doing? I think you were just the crawl.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
So, let's see. Alright. So we had a little more time, but I'll put up the schedule for right now. So this is the agenda for today, sort of what we're going to cover. I'm going to go over like every month what the topic's going to be. So that way you have an idea of like, hey, what month do I want to be here, or do I just want to do the whole series, get everything out of it. We're going to go over like a couple like Nomad stats. A lot of the things that people don't realize is like how prevalent this is becoming. I don't think anybody now today can do any of what they do without a laptop or a phone. You know, and if you do, wow. Yeah, good for you. You know, so. And then we're going to cover some digital nomad news. A lot of times nobody's looking for this stuff, and at the same time, because it's growing so much, there's so much out there. We're going to cover like new cruise lines are like literally catering to this market. And then we're going to cover like a place that you probably don't know about that is willing to pay people to come live there. You know, so if you want a job to go live somewhere nice, I got the lineup for you. You know, so. And then we're going to cover like why you'll most likely end up in this lifestyle. You know, so like everybody pretty much at some point is going to be working remote. You know, if it's through a company, most companies are realizing like the benefit of just like why get all this office space? Why spend that when we can just spend that on like other stuff? You know, even as a digital nomad, it makes no sense to get office space for your team. You know, so that's what Starbucks is for. And then we're going to cover like the myths. Everybody has this myth of just like the beach, the Mai Tai in the hand, the laptop, you know, strolling along, and it's just not doable. I don't know anybody that does that, you know, except the people in the stock photos. That's their job. so. And then common jobs that are held by digital nomads. A lot of times people think just like, it's YouTubers and Instagram people and things like that. And at the same time, the biggest jobs out there are really not that. Actually, they're very much the minority of that whole industry. Like, it's very hard to get to that level of making income, whereas you can literally just go and pick up like 20, 30 jobs a week and just knock them out real quick. A lot of times companies hire for like very small gig work, and you can easily do 1,000, 3,000, and be in a very like rural area of the world and be rich, so you can sort of like do arbitrage, that kind of stuff. And then we're going to cover the biggest fear as to why people don't really dive into this stuff. This is the part that people just like, why they don't like do it head on. And then of course the different styles of choices. People think like this is just permanent, and it's not. There's many different ways to like dive into this lifestyle. So, and then once you do expect to like start traveling on a regular basis, there are things you really need to be aware of. Most of the time people think like, I get to travel and I get to go new places and I get to live a jet setter life. And it's not like that. It's very different. And so we'll close out with like, do you need a lot of money to start? And then one thing you can do right now to pretty much get yourself going, if you're already doing it, so. So that is the schedule of the topics for the month. So if you want to take a picture or if you want to write it down or anything like that, so that way you have an idea. So for this month, because this is the beginning part, we're just going to cover like a general overview. For November and December, for most people, this is the stuff they're really looking for, is like, one, how do I make money while I travel? Or how do I just create my own job or business and run it that way? So there's two ways of looking at it. And a lot of times people want to just work for themselves, and that's the whole point of the digital nomad lifestyle, is just being your own boss. And then in January, we're going to have international travel logistics and dealing with visas. So I'm going to have a panel of people from consulates all over Texas to come talk about their country, how to get work visas, how to deal with logistics, resources that they can provide you once you're in the country. It's super important to understand when you are doing this stuff, don't ever think you can go into a country and work and make money on a tourist visa. That's the quickest way to get your visa like canceled, and banned or something like that. So like just don't think like, who's gonna find out and who's gonna know, and like don't. Yeah.
What's your time frame though that you can work off your visitor's visa?
It depends on the country. Like some countries have very short visa windows.
Does the EU have one general guideline for all of its countries?
Because the EU has about 20 that offer digital nomad visas, they usually run past 160 days. So you can come in there. But if you're getting a digital nomad visa, it means that you're looking for longer residency. So like 6 to 8 months or so. And then they will allow that. But you have to have a certain income threshold, which is between like $3,500 and $4,500 per month that you have to be showing you can make to get that visa.
Will you also be talking about this the other way around, getting to the US? This is my perspective, right?
Right, yeah, yes.
EU is fine for me. The US is difficult because
Right, absolutely, yes. And this is one country that really doesn't offer a digital nomad visa, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I was at a Singapore event the other week, and I asked them, I was just like, hey, y'all are like the premier place of like finance and technology and all this, so do y'all have a digital nomad visa? No, we don't. And that's because they're so strict about certain entries into the country. So you can either do tourist or work, but there's no in between. And then we're going to cover like maintaining your health and wellness. And a lot of people just don't think about like, hey, I'm fine. I'll just go get a burger and hey, come on in. And so we're going to cover things like insurance. What to do, like if you do get hurt and you're by yourself or you're stranded or something happens, how to deal with that kind of stuff. Because most people will think like, I just need travel insurance and maybe buy like some insurance on the side and I'm good. There's way more stuff you need to have on your palette to make all this work. Otherwise, you can find yourself in big trouble real fast. So March, we're going to cover like networking as a digital nomad. Because the world is such a big place, there's so many places to go and do stuff with. You can easily find yourself, in a very tech-focused city like Austin, and dive right into this community of people that are building amazing stuff. If you've ever been to any networking events like in Amsterdam, there's a hub of stuff going on over there. There's so many things taking place, especially Dubai, so, and then of course adapting to different cultures. Most people think like, oh, it's fine, I've been here before, but the typical time frame to get adjusted is between like 9 and 12 months to really understand the culture. I was reading the other day, like why Americans have so much trouble understanding UK, even though they both speak English. This one example that I read was, this lady was talking to a guy, and he accidentally spilt his drink on her dress, and she said, "Oh, you got my pants all wet," and everybody in the bar started laughing. Sorry, club. And and she was like, "Why are you laughing? This is embarrassing," and everything like that. It's like, because pants in the UK mean underwear, and so everybody's just like, "Why are you saying?" Because you don't see your underwear. So, yeah. So it's little things like that that can throw you off. So, and then to round everything off, depending on how all goes in the end, your success tips and preventing burnout, because traveling can take a toll on your body. So if you like the jet setter lifestyle, where you watch these influencers on YouTube and they're like in a different city every week, and they're going to parties, and they're like having this, and they're meeting these amazing people. Yeah, it takes a toll on their life too. Like dealing with jet lag is not fun. So that's why cruise ships are coming around, and they're just like, hey, why don't you just come live here, and we will slowly go around the world, and you don't deal with jet lag. So. All right, a little humor. Hey, come on in. Oh, hopefully y'all got a good party.
Yeah, we did. We had to walk a little bit.
Yeah. So, how many of y'all think like that's very true? So we just covered the schedule right now of what we're going to be doing. We'll go back over that, real quick. But this is just a little comic to basically tell you like, hey, most people in the world think like that's the lifestyle of a digital nomad. Most people don't realize like your time pretty much is spent, if this is really what you want to do, in front of a laptop trying to pay the bills and survive. And the little stat at the bottom, a lot of people who are digital nomads who do this full time, they're constantly working. They're constantly trying to keep things going. Because it's pretty crazy, like if you don't have your stuff together, things can fall apart real fast when you're in a different country and you have no safety net. So that's why I thought I would throw this in, because yes, this is sort of the standard look, the beach life and working from a laptop. So here's some stats to read, to go through. If you have questions or things like that, I'll briefly go, but I'll let you digest that real quick. So, do any of those stand out to you? Is there any specific one that stands out the most?
That first one's crazy, that with 55,000, working and live like that for 55. It's nice to think about.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it all depends on like how you set up your businesses. Like most digital nomads run like several different companies, and they'll create different income streams, so that way they're able to like pay for certain things. When we get into like how to make money, I teach like how to basically like silo your income streams. Like you don't ever want to keep everything as one. You want to keep things siloed, so that way one thing pays for like your travel, one thing pays for your housing, one thing pays for your insurance. You want to have like streams of income coming in for that. And most people always assume like, I'll just get one paycheck and pay everything with that. So
seems like a lot, 25, 24 million, do you think these numbers, like how do they get to these numbers? Do you know that?
So a lot of this from MBO partners, they look at like what type of people work by themselves. So like non-farm individual, like solo entrepreneur jobs. And a lot of that breaks down to what are you doing? Like there's a book that I promote heavily that it amazes me how many people don't know about this book, and it's called $1 Million One-Person Businesses. And they go into those details about like how many people are literally just a one-person company and yet they're doing $1 million in revenue in 6 months, 7 months. And then I meet people who are just like, I can't even get 3 customers, you know? So these numbers right here just show how many people really are starting to work on their laptops. How many people want to embrace this like freedom lifestyle of, I do things on my time, I make money how I want to make money, and I go where I want to go, that's going to benefit me the best. You know, and more people have realized that now that this great resignation happened, and people are realizing like, okay, I get to choose what I want to do. I get to choose my time schedule. I get to do that stuff. If you looked at like how Shopify does things now, like they have so many free tutorials online that you can go and like just like, okay, cool, I can make one company and does this, hire a small team of people to run it, and then I'll just replicate that doing other industries. So now you have different income streams coming in, and you just check in on them every now and then. So why wouldn't you want that versus like that boss that's on you just like, why didn't you turn in that TPS report? Yeah, so yes. So, but the one at the bottom is probably like the most interesting one. I found there an article recently that just showed like how much they contribute to the global economy. Like these people are all around the world. They're all going out. They are helping the small little like street vendor buying their food. They're going to markets. They're buying clothes. They're doing this stuff. They're really influencing the markets around the world because you're your own boss. You're traveling. Yes, Bali is a big digital nomad community, but when you go into those street markets and you're buying from that local vendor that's literally a family just trying to survive, you're helping them. You're helping them so much, you know. And many people don't realize that huge economic impact. So, but the other one is also the fact that like the average digital nomad is a female Gen Xer working in education and administration, because most people think to be a digital nomad, you gotta be a software developer. It's like, oh, you don't make websites? Oh. I know. So, all right. So this is the one we're gonna go over right here. So this one just sort of came out recently, the residential cruise ship, and they're gonna let people live at sea. Any idea like how much a room is gonna go for? Because this is like basically an apartment or a condo. Anybody want to take a guess?
Mexico City?
Around the world.
Oh.
Around the world.
1,000 a month.
1,000 a month? Okay, you're close. Anybody else?
Around the world.
All right, there it is.
So that's for the full 3.5 years?
Yeah, and it's gonna keep, yeah, so basically it'll repeat. So this is a little breakdown right there. You can start, that's the name of the company. And what's funny about this is that the CEO actually doesn't have a ship right now. He's actually trying to get the ship. But if you want, the cheapest condo started at $100K, and if you're looking to get nice stuff, they'll let you have one for $2 million. That's on sale, by the way. Yeah, so just letting you know. But yeah, it was really crazy reading about this. How like there's so many different like cruise ship companies that are trying to get into this industry now, because they're realizing there's a huge lucrative market that's there. And there's competitors that are already in the industry, and I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. So I mean, like, would any of y'all like want to live on a cruise ship and just like have a restaurant and your doctor's office right there, and your kid's school on board, and, like your dentist's office? You know, would you want that? And how it works is it stops off in different cities for like 30 days at a time. So you have time to go out and explore the culture, build your client base, build your company, do your stuff. And then basically, like, you have a place to stay on the ship if you want, or you can go out into that region and explore, and then come back, and then it goes to another port. You know, so how does that appeal to y'all? I mean, like, that to me is just like, it sounds cool, but it's like, man, you gotta work really hard to afford that bill.
I would say no for a different reason. I think the big selling point of being a digital nomad is like the freedom of time and place. And
Right.
if you're on somebody else's schedule, you're already financially committed.
Mhm.
It removes that aspect. It's just like a slow
Absolutely,
vacation.
absolutely, yeah, it does. Yeah, so this is really the only company right now that does this kind of stuff in the world, but they're coming into that space and they want to like change it up, so. I forget if they have the map, let me see if there's a map of, yeah, so this is what a typical room will look like. There'll also be other guests, so people will come and go. But if you want a room like this, it's gonna cost you obviously, you know, but if you don't care about a view, then yeah. But there'll be a pet spa if you need a pet spa for your dog or cat, or your fish. Yeah. So, and then the nice thing is you don't ever have to worry about chores ever again. They have people to take care of your trash and clean up your room, and if that's what you want. So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting right there. So the other one from right there is the Americans are flocking to Mexico City because rent is very cheap there. So anybody know about this trend? No? Yeah, so this one right here was really interesting. Like, it's like rent is like super cheap over there, but I'll let you read the first part right here. But it's also bothering a lot of people down there because it's offsetting their cost of living. So you have this influx of people coming in, they're making different levels of income, and now all of a sudden, like, all these digital nomads are just like there, and they're just like, we love it, it's fantastic, it's great. Oh, but everybody's rent is now going up. You know, so, but to them, it's still cheap.
So Mexico City's got, I think it's 17 million people, and I went last, about 2 years ago, and we stayed there for a while. One thing the Americans might like about this is that their hospitals now have been raised to the point where they can accept our Medicare and Medicaid, and so they have to go through the same inspection process for American hospitals. So that's nice for if you're getting older. You want to have that ability. I loved it when I went there.
Yeah.
It's great.
So, I mean, like, if you're looking to do that, because they're so close, like, you can literally just take, like, a week there, go explore, try things out, and then see what, you know, your lifestyle would be like, you know. For some people, it's fantastic. For other people, like, maybe it's too big of a city, but, you know, that's kind of the idea. Oh, yeah, you'll love this one right here. Alright, so I saw this little guy, and if anybody is interested in doing this, please let me know. Or if you do apply, let me know, because I'm thinking of applying as well. Okay. So I will scroll down here, you can kind of read this little thing. Yeah. Anybody be open to that? You all want to go do that? It's a very tiny island. There's no internet. Just let you know, there's no internet. But yeah, I mean, like, basically they're asking you to come and share your knowledge on the island. And they are limiting it to 30,000 people, I think. Not at one time, by the way. So it's gonna be like on a rotation basis. So you come in, you share what you're doing, how you're doing it, and you're basically just helping these people like come into our world, basically, yeah. Which is surprising.
So what do they offer outside of the comp visa? Is it stipend or housing or?
Yes, they provide all that stuff. So room and board, food, housing, all that, everything you need on that island to basically live your life. Except one important thing that all digital nomads need, and that is
The internet.
thank you.
Well, we got Starlink now.
So, yeah, so if you come in and you're just like, I got Starlink, and they're just like, is that an astrology thing?
Yeah, fair enough.
You know? So, doing that would be like, wow, you're from the future, man. Wow, that's so cool.
How do you overcome that?
What's that?
How do you overcome the internet?
Overcome the internet?
How do you overcome it?
Yeah, you get Starlink.
You buy a dish?
Well, Starlink is like this little connection that Elon Musk created where you can get
Right.
internet around
There
the
you
world,
go.
you know,
Yeah.
so.
That's
And
cool.
you just, I think it's like a little device and it just connects, you know, so. Don't expect it to be fast though, but yeah. So, if you wanna know more details right here, you can apply on their page, you go through this stuff. But one of the things they're really looking for is you have to have multiple years of experience in a certain field. So, they want professionals who are versed in all kinds of areas. So again, they're going to, you know, pay you, they will offer you a home, they'll do all that stuff. But, you know, they've set aside a little bit of like 20,000 to host a total of 30 remote workers over the next few years. So if that appeals to you, I would say, hey, go to Italy, you know, go try it out. They'll pay you to be there, why not? You know, it's like the whole deal with the dollar homes in Italy. Yeah, you know, it's the same thing like that. You know, so, but I mean, like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then, hey, come on in. Yeah. So we'll go over like some of these like job lists right here. I saw this recently. There was another list like of things that are even in more demand, but most of the time, yeah, these are the same stats you read before. So again, like we're predicting that more and more people are going to basically take on this lifestyle. And so for one that they picked was AI engineer. And you know, because AI is becoming the big thing now, that's a job you can easily just do from a laptop. And it's even funnier now where you can make movies with AI, you can do trailers with AI, you can write books with AI, you can, you know, change the world with AI, so why doesn't anybody want to hire AI? Why not? You know. So, hey, come on in. Yeah. Cybersecurity specialist, you know, data scientist. Again, a lot of these things where you just need a laptop, internet. If you work for a firm or you work for yourself and this is what you want to do, fantastic, you know. But these are some of the fastest growing ones. IT support specialist. The thing about the beginning part right here is you notice they're all geared towards technical skills. And that sort of skews this idea of just like what a typical digital nomad is. You don't need technical skills to really dive into this lifestyle. I'll show you one that, you know, is very popular, but yeah, software engineer, obviously, technical writer, web developer, all jobs that can be done elsewhere. So another category, everybody needs an accountant. Nobody's really good at like managing their books sometimes. And that can be done anywhere. Business analyst, consultant, legal counsel. I'm going to be showing a YouTuber who actually was a prosecutor with the government, U.S. government, and he got sick of that life, and now he turned to a digital nomad lifestyle, and now he runs a YouTube channel, and he's actually more successful doing that than being in a courtroom arguing cases for the U.S. So, marketing manager, I have another article on that one right there. Project manager, which a lot of people have really dived into lately. Sales representatives. If you can sell, like a company will hire you. If you can really like sell, like sometimes you just need people to get you leads. Virtual assistant, I've hired a ton of these people all around the world. They can change your life. I guarantee you that. They can change your life. So if you really know what you're doing and you're looking for like a way to like streamline your operations, like yes, get a virtual assistant. Even when you're just like, but I don't need a virtual assistant. It's like, but your calendar looks terrible. Like, okay. So, creative jobs. So content creators, yes, obviously, you know, people on TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff. Copywriters, editors, you know, graphics designers, journalists. Yeah, I don't know so much about that anymore. So that might be on the way out, but yeah. Journalists, yeah, maybe. Video editors, yes, definitely. Video editor. If you know how to video edit, I guarantee you there's a lot of work out there for you. A lot of work. You know. So for non-digital, yes. And you know, this one right here, traveling nurse. I've actually met a lot of nurses who, I believe the word is duo. They help women have home births.
Doula.
Yeah, doula. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. So they go to homes and they help women have natural births inside their homes, and they travel around for that stuff. So a lot of them are independent. You know, they have license and stuff. And of course, the typical flight attendant and cruise ship staff. So, but yes. The other one right here. If this is your field, then yes, that is fantastic because this one right here, they just posted this like October 8th. Let me just get right to where, yeah, there it is. So right here, I'll let you read those details. Has anybody been to last one here? No? No? Okay. So they're now in East Austin. They used to be downtown in the Meetup building. Yeah, they're an interesting company, but they posted that for product manager, and that in itself is really turning into a big thing. So this is another one that has gained a lot of attention recently as well. So on Fiverr, there's a lot of people who are posting these types of jobs, and they are making a lot of money doing this kind of work. And that is just marketing. You know, a lot of times people will have a company and they're just like, I just need people to know that I exist. And so you're just like, I need a really good marketer to get my name out there. And people on Fiverr, even upwards, they will charge very high rates for like good return. You know, so a lot of times I meet people who they're running companies and they're just like, but nobody knows me. And I've told everybody about me. I was like, well, what's your marketing strategy? What is that? You know, so it's like, wow. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, like there's all kinds of ways for the digital nomad lifestyle. So if you're looking for unique ways of like getting your name out there, or trying to like sell your skills, or you want to build your own company with your skills, there's definitely a market there. So. All right. So the next one is this. Who wants this problem? You travel so much, you need a break from traveling. You know, so yeah, that's sort of like the irony behind it, where it's like everybody like, I just want my 2 weeks of vacation for the year, and then your digital nomad lifestyle is like, Bali again, God, jeez, you know. All right, so here are the myths that everybody seems to have about this lifestyle. I'll let you go through the ones, and then we'll slowly like break them all down. Hey, what's up? Come on in.
It's over.
Alright, so are any of these like ones y'all believed in the beginning? Like, is any of these like okay, yes, I thought that was the deal. Yeah.
Say staying productive is a challenge. I think that's more of a personal struggle and journey.
Alright, yeah.
With the traveling all the time becoming expensive and
Alright, yeah.
you know.
Any others?
I think you definitely think digital nomad is someone that is hip, young, I don't know.
Right.
Doesn't seem like an old guy would do it.
Yeah. So that one right there definitely is a big myth. There are a lot of older people who are now switching to this because of that shift from like, hey, I can do this from home now. I can actually work and do my stuff here, and they're discovering these roles are just like Fiverr, Upworks, people hire, Topple, things like that, and they're just going on and posting their stuff. And you might find somebody who's on there and they have like 10 years of experience. Do you care what their age is? Like, you're gonna hire them because they produce so much great value that you're gonna basically give them a job. You know, and there's many people who are doing that stuff. So regardless of like where they're living, they might just be a basic project manager, or they might be an accountant, or they might be a lawyer that just reviews contracts for you. So yeah. For number 2, tech skills, you don't need tech skills. Even though we went over some of the lists that are like, all tech related, I guarantee you there are people out there working in education, like I said before, they just need administrators. Like, you hire a VA who can just basically manage the back end of your business. They don't need to be a developer for that. They just need to make your life simple and easy. You know, so all you need to get later on in the morning is just a report of like things you need to take care of that you can do. Everything else they can handle. You know, so yeah. So the part right there where number 7, you're always traveling. This lifestyle is how you want to create it, how you want to design it. There are digital nomads that go and they will stay in an area for like 6-9 months and they will just work that whole region for a long time. Why? Because your cost of living just dropped tremendously. When you're the jet setter, like living that nice lifestyle, like it's expensive, like landing and having to buy everything all over again, grocery shopping, doing all those things. Like people don't realize like, gotta get another SIM card, gotta get new, programs get set up for that stuff. So it can get costly, but when you're traveling all the time, like your expenses just go up way faster. But when you're traveling slowly, it's so much easier to just spread everything out. So number 8, surprisingly, they're not super rich. I know we've seen the YouTubers where they have the nice, personal jets and all that stuff. Hey, come on, yeah. But yeah, they're not. Most of them are, they literally worked a bartending job somewhere, they saved up a lot of money, and now they booked their first ticket out to go somewhere for 3 months. And they go do that, they take whatever pictures they want, they upload the videos if that's what they want to do, and then they travel, they do all their stuff, and then once they run low on money, they can either go do that again in that area or go back home and start over again. Staying productive is a challenge. That's actually one of the things I put that there because research has shown that because the world is so different everywhere, you're constantly inundated with new culture. You're constantly inundated with new ideas, new things that are going on. Whereas when you live in the same city, do the same thing over and over, your creativity drops tremendously because you know the routine. But when you're exposed to different things oh man, I can do this, I can do that, your innovation and creativity just kick in overdrive. Because you might go to a community and just hey, you need this, and I can give it to you. Let me build it. So. But yeah. Alright, so these right here are the fast and remote careers that are around as well. So I added in the article, but I wanted to show you these are more geared towards general business stuff.
How do you jump the barrier on the English on the language issues?
Like the bilingual translation?
No, just say you want to go. A lot of these guys want to go to Mexico. I know, a lot of people speak English, but not everyone speaks English. So what's the challenge of going to a country where you don't speak French or you don't?
So you can. There's a lot of people that are out there that will come in and basically be your personal tour guide. There's websites now where you can literally post your job and say hey, if you come visit this city, I will help you get around. And you pay them for that. So they can do that kind of stuff. Now, of course, many people would be but I have Google Translate and I just hold my phone up. He's shaking his head because he knows.
Italian island could be a challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't speak English.
Right,
I think Lisbon, probably there's a community because I think the Portuguese do not speak English.
Right.
But maybe in Lisbon because there's so many other people.
Just the big cities are no problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You get the country.
Exactly. Yeah.
The French, they will just probably, they don't speak. They
speak
can speak English, but they won't.
Right.
That's right.
And for those that have been to Italy, you know that dialects change even if you change into a different neighborhood, and you're just wait, what? I thought I knew Italian. Yeah. So yeah, there's a whole industry out there for that. You can literally go to certain websites that will let you sign up and be hey, you come here, I will be your personal tour guide, and I only charge you this one. How many of y'all use Airbnb? Okay. How many of y'all know the other side of Airbnb? Okay, thank you. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know all sides of Airbnb.
Okay,
I
alright.
consult in the hospitality space.
Okay. Do you know what the name of that other side of Airbnb is besides housing?
Experiences?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many of y'all been on Experiences Airbnb? Yes. And what did you find?
It was nice. It was chill.
Uh-huh. Who here doesn't know about that place? Okay. So basically the concept is you go to a different city, you go to a different place, and you experience something there. My favorite thing that I found was there's a grandmother in Italy that will teach you how to create an authentic Italian dinner in her kitchen. And I think she charges like between like $150 and $200 a person, which for her, that's a lot of money. And she limits it to like 6 people. So who wouldn't want to experience that? Raise your hand. Who doesn't want that?
A friend of mine did that. He really liked it in
See?
Naples somewhere.
Yeah.
He said it was amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. And so, let me bring up what's in Austin. I want to show you all what's going on in Austin for Airbnb experiences because, it's pretty wild, yeah. So, here's what you can do in Austin, okay? And you can pay for this. Experience graffiti culture and spray culture, for 1 hour. Go around, happening, tomorrow. And it shows you the breakdown. Ride along with e-scooters, Morning walk, Austin. $33 per scooter. He's getting it. He's getting it, see? Right there. Dive into Lake Austin right there. Yes, this is an actual thing. Okay? Like, you can make money doing this stuff. Like, if there's something you can offer here in Austin, like, why not? It's another way to earn income. It's another way to get your name out there. Many times, digital nomads will land in the city and be like, hey, I've done this before. I know the routine. I'm going to go in, create a profile. I'll do an experience and, make some money. So, historic horseback ride in Austin, all these different things, like, the fact that you're just going to go walk with somebody in the morning, I think is just like, yeah.
I thought of a slightly different angle for this too, because with the show of hands of how many people even knew about this for the space, if you find some amazing experience on here with not too many reviews, reach out to that person, see if you can help them with marketing management.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, if anybody's ever like actually gone through and like studied the AI YouTube channels that have started to come out, I guarantee if you just sit down and just go through every single video, you'll be worth $1 million in services. Like, I've watched one guy who basically like said like I can show you how to revolutionize everybody's business using this one AI tool. And all it does is just make their pictures of food look amazing. It's like looking at food from like anime movies. So you're just like, hey, I can make your food very appealing. Let me do that. If you like it, pay me. If you don't, it's free. And all of a sudden, like, you're building out this huge agency. And then you're watching them on YouTube do all this stuff, and you're just like, holy shit, this person just made like $10,000 in a month. And all he did was just reach out to companies doing that. He's like, hey, I can go in and have AI just perfect your website. Let me do it. If you don't like it, you don't have to pay anything. But if you do, here's my price. So yeah, seeing all this stuff, I'm sure now everybody here is just like, I have an idea to post for an experience. Come to my house, I will get you drunk. Yes. Yeah. So again, you can search like all kinds of like cities and see what people are offering, and you will be very, very surprised like what you find. So if we did Airbnb experiences and we do London, then we can see like what things are going on there. London's amazing palaces, Royal London bike ride. Somebody will come and take your pictures on the London Bridge with you. So become a DJ in style in a few hours. Go learn that stuff. So yeah, I mean like wow, I like that one. Explore Harry Potter's London tour. Cinematic photo shoot in London. So yeah, anybody got a camera? Just post that for Austin. Hey, I will make you look amazing in Zilker Park. For $50.
Another cool thing about this too is like if you find yourself in a foreign country where English isn't the main language, more often than not, I would venture to guess without seeing the data that a lot of Americans use Airbnb to find accommodations more than other languages possibly.
Yes. Yeah.
They're going to want English-speaking guides. So do anything, walk around the city, do like half a day's worth of historical research, and then be that guy.
Yeah.
It's just a good like safety net if you need something.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm showcasing this because like if you think this is cool, like all the stuff I'm gonna show you for next month for like doing work will probably blow you away like what's out there. Like when I hear people are just like, I can't find a job, I'm just like, how's that possible? Like how? There's so many things out there for digital nomads to like pick up. Like you can easily clear 6,000-7,000 a week just doing like these little small things for people. Or even doing your own stuff. So. So this one right here, I'll let you read this. I was gonna create another slide for this and hide the year, but I just left it. But the year is what gets me, because this still applies to today. So, everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so when this book came out, obviously the internet was way different in 1997 than today. If you wanted to be a digital nomad in 1997, it just wasn't really possible. There was no way you're going to take your desktop, laptop, or basically desktop with you on a plane and like plug it in somewhere and wait for it to do its thing, and then wait for the dial-up modem to do its thing, and hopefully get on to AOL and try and get to your mail. You know? So when you look at this code in itself, like think of like all the technology we have now and how small it has become, and how much power you have to just build whatever it is you want to build now. You know, there are so many websites out there that just let you do so many different things. You're just like, wow, I can build this, I can do that, I can hire somebody to just make this real quick. Like the possibilities are just, so now that we have this huge influx of AI now, imagine what the next 5-10 years is going to bring to this world. Like, I can already tell you from watching all these like keynote speakers in AI, there are so many more millionaires that are going to be minted almost every single day now in the world, that is just going to push so many other people out. If you're not using AI to basically just become a millionaire and set yourself up, like you've missed the whole point of technology. And that's what a lot of digital nomads are doing now, is there's so many people who posted videos who are just like, hey, use AI now to make your life as a digital nomad way easier. Because why not? Yeah. Do you need to hire that graphics designer now? That's why it's graphics designers are just like, they have to pivot to keep themselves relevant. Because Mid-Journey has changed that. Dolly has changed that. You know, so you watch people who make movies now with AI, it's just like, what's the point of studios? And because of this whole like actor strike and writer strike, for everybody that I've been watching and paying attention to, it's just like, that literally just put them into a place of just like, what is the point of y'all now? If I can recreate Star Wars on my laptop. You know, so. And this is the biggest fear people have. Why they don't dive into this full time.
If you go to a socialist country, all those things go away.
You know. And yeah, I mean, like, does anybody think this is not true? No? Yeah. So I think that's like what holds a lot of people back from like doing this like just constantly. Like just like getting on a plane and just like, okay, I'm gonna go do this, you know, and just try it out. It's that fear, where it's just like, could you do this lifestyle 20, 30 years ago? Absolutely not. It was completely different back then, you know. Vagabonding, who here has heard of that book? Vagabonding, okay, yes. That book is written back in the 90s, okay? This was way before the technology we have today, so that whole lifestyle is very different from like, okay, I can get on my phone and I can do this, this, and this, and you couldn't do that 30 years ago. Now you have so much power in your hand, it's just like, wow, I can literally have somebody build me an app that does this, this, and this. Zapier can literally just change your life if you know what you're doing. And yeah, I mean, it's just like, okay, if you're not trying to use this stuff, then what are you, missing out on? So for a lot of people, it's just getting out there and just trying it. You know, so at the very end of this whole thing, I have one little thing if you're still scared to try and get into this lifestyle. So
We have one more to add to the list for me.
Sure.
What will it do to my kids?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I have to take the kids with me.
Uh-huh.
It's a completely different game because I think like I can manage probably like
Yeah.
all risk, but I can sort of manage the change.
Right.
But will they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for me actually an even bigger thing.
So this one right here, tax lifestyle. So, I'll let you read over that and then we'll go over different ways. Yeah, so. these like stick out to you the most, like different, things? Cause I know the first three sort of like set, what the lifestyle's about, but like there's all kinds of different groups of travel out there. Like solo travel versus group travel, if you decide to do it. Has anybody ever done like a National Geographic travel program? So these programs that they put on, they'll go out for like 3 months and you'll be like, hey, we're gonna cover all of the Middle East for 3 months. And you sign up for their package and you go as a group. So then you can save up for that, travel, do your stuff, and then all of a sudden like you're exposed to everything. They have everything set up. And you're in a safe community because everything's been planned out by you. They've already vetted everything. They know all the travelers, they know all the tourists. They know what's gonna happen basically because they've done it so many times. So you can go in and basically do a safe thing. Whereas if you do a solo travel and you're just by yourself and you're just like, I'm just gonna go to Singapore in a weekend, So yeah, you can still do that as well, but you have that independence, you can do whatever you want, spontaneous, like if I wanna go here, I wanna try this, whereas when you do group travel, you don't have that ability. It's just like, hey, I wanna go try that place. That's not on the itinerary, sorry. So. But, yeah.
Since it has taxes up there.
Yeah.
I feel like there's gonna be a whole section about that.
There is, yeah. So
what are some of the highlights of that?
So basically like for part-time nomads, when you travel, you're not traveling for business because you're gonna work for a period of time in the US, and when you travel out to go, do your thing, you're not making money in those countries. So you don't have to worry about your taxes. The second you go on a travel visa into another country, I said this earlier, but you don't ever want to do that. You're going to get yourself into a lot of trouble, and most likely you're going to get your visa or passport canceled. Because you make any kind of money on a tourist visa in a country that doesn't support digital nomad visas, you're just don't do it. You don't want the hassle.
I feel like if you have a, say, full-time job and you're just like, I'm gonna go somewhere for 2 weeks, but I don't have 2 weeks of vacation, I'm still kind of working.
Right.
What is the spectrum of when that becomes an issue?
It becomes an issue the second you start making money in that economy.
Does that mean that you're getting paid by people who live there? For sure, that's
no, you're
in
getting
their
paid for your
economy.
company, but you're using the resources of that country you're in to do that. And so the country will look at that because when you do your American taxes and everything like that, it's going to show like you were in this location when you did that. And so when the IRS looks at that information, they're just like, did that country require tax reporting as well? And if that is the case, then where are those forms? You don't want, the idea is like, you just don't want to put yourself in that situation if you don't have to. But if you are doing this full time and you know you're going to be working and you know you're going to be going there to work, you need to make sure you have all your paperwork in place for that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just like, don't give yourself another problem if you don't need to, because a lot of digital nomads, they will work, save up, then they will go travel for pleasure and fun. That's totally understandable. But the second you open that laptop and the second you start working for a company, it causes all kinds of problems.
Isn't it, the IRS, both countries can't, if you're working for an American company and you're working overseas, and the American company's paying you in dollars,
Yeah.
then how does the foreign government know you're working there?
Because your residency at the time shows you were there.
So you have to once you declare residency.
So, yes, but it's also the fact that you opened your laptop and your IP showed you there.
It's true. I worked overseas, but it's been a while. But
Yeah.
we had special arrangements. Americans have special arrangements with those are the countries I worked in.
Yeah.
Where they had arrangements to work differently. But I think they the first 70,000 is tax free and different. So I don't know. I know there's some countries that the Americans have made agreements with and you can work there.
Absolutely, yeah. And it depends on the country as well. But for that topic, I believe it's going to be in December. I'm looking right now to have some tax experts here, so that way y'all can get even more detailed questions answered, because this is a big issue for a lot of people. It's just like, many times this is also the fear of like, I don't want to deal with more tax work that I don't need to deal with, because you can easily get into a lot of trouble, especially if you go to another country and you're going to be there for 6 months, 7 months, and you open a bank account.
Yeah, I was saying more just like you go somewhere for 2 weeks.
Right.
And
just do it on a travel visa. you wanna
Yeah.
travel and just like enjoy yourself, you know?
Right, but like you have a job,
Right.
like you're not on vacation, you're kind of working, you're not working as much as if you were at home, your company doesn't care where you are.
Yeah.
But I think every country allows you like 6 weeks where you can do that without getting tax
Is that,
liability.
is that true?
It's sort of true, but if you're there on a travel visa, tourist visa, and you're working and making money, you're putting yourself in jeopardy at that point, you know, just like that's
Like,
that's why.
if you're a
that's why-
salaried worker, whether you're on vacation or not, it's, I don't know, it just seems like kind of murky, but.
It's very murky, and that's why there's a lot of countries that don't do the digital nomad visa thing. You know, because it's either are you here for pleasure or are you here for business? What
That's the
what
first
is
thing
it?
they ask you.
That's the first thing they're gonna ask you when you get to the country.
Right.
If you answer wrong and you do something else, yes, they have recourse against you, absolutely, you know. And you know you put yourself in that situation, and that's why I say just don't give yourself more problems if you don't have to, you know. So, but that's why I'm gonna have people come in and have a panel on that, so y'all can get all those questions cleared up. You know, how to set up special bank accounts, what to deal with that stuff, if you decide to do this. Because for digital nomads, when you don't work for a company, your taxes are way more complicated because you have to deal with different stuff, you know, so. Whereas like with expats and settlers, you know, the difference between that and nomads is like, they're just a foreigner living in another country and they've settled there. You know, so they're applied for basically citizenship. So. But yes, you know, and traveling as a family, like I've watched so many YouTubers who do this stuff. It looks cool, it's fantastic. I'm all for it for them. You know, I just can't imagine just like, oh, we're sailing and our kid fell off the boat again, you know. So, yeah, gotta deal with those problems, you know. And then I've watched the people who do the sailboat life and they're just like, no, not fish again today. You know, I'm tired of this, you know. But then you see the kids are just like, they're diving off the boats and they're going snorkeling and they're doing all this stuff and that's a very different lifestyle from just like waking up, going to class, doing soccer practice, you know, homework, bed, you know, so. And then of course there's seasonal travelers where you're just like, you work for a long, like 3-4 months, you save up the money and then you just go travel for like a long time, like another 3 or 4 months and do that, you know. So there's all different kinds of ways to like embrace this lifestyle. Surprisingly enough, there's actually this whole industry in itself, budget travel. Do y'all ever get on like these like websites for like airline tickets and search for everything under $100, you know, and you're just like, okay, $50 to Vegas, I'm there. Why not? You know, I used to see like tickets a long time ago for like one-way tickets, like $30 to Miami from, you know, San Antonio, Austin. And that doesn't exist anymore, by the way. Don't look for it. You know, but again, you know, they're out there and they drop these deals at random times. And again, if you're good with Zapier, it can notify you when like it drops like $50 or $40 or something like that. But you know, you have female travel. There are all kinds of like programs out there just for like female travel, digital nomads. There's minority groups, people who are Hispanic, people who are Black, people of all different types of minorities are out there, Native Americans. There are all kinds of groups. And that's what's amazing about this lifestyle is like you see all these different digital nomads and they have communities out there for you. So don't ever think like, I'm gonna go to this place and like, nobody's doing what I'm doing, trust me. Whatever you've thought of before, somebody's already doing it. They're probably either doing it better or just as bad, you know, so. And pet travel. Me personally, I don't have a pet. I can't imagine what it must be like to like bring your 2 dogs with you and you're just like, you get to a country and like, they have to be quarantined for 14 days. And now you're trying to do your work and and then you're dealing with your dogs. And then you gotta go back, like, no, one of them is sick. Now you gotta do it, it's like, oh, gosh. And I understand, like, for some, it's just like, it's a lonely thing, you know, you don't wanna feel lonely, you want companionship. But, yeah, it just seems like a lot of shit, so. And the last part I put right there is, for any country you're gonna go to, if this is what you really wanna start embracing, get the expedited travel passes. And you know, these are the ones where basically like you don't have to wait in line, you don't have to do your stuff, you just get there, you show your pass, you've done your security checks, you've already passed the things, just pay the fee, go through the line, get on the plane, you're done. You know, it will save you so much time. I think they range from like what, $15 to $25 for these passes. So if you are always going between the US and like UK or Europe, get the expedited travel passes. You know, just look at the country, look at what expedited pass they offered. It will save you so much time, you know, And if you just happen to be one of those people that flies by private jet, congratulations. So you don't have to deal with that. So yeah. All right. So the next one. Here's a little bit more humor. So, that's the life of a digital nomad, you know, it's just like, you work remote for so long, you're just like, yeah, I think that the team of people are great. I've never met them, but, you know. So, I just like throwing that in there because, I mean, like, sometimes life can get hard at times and you gotta have a little humor to enjoy it. But traveling all the time, this is what you kind of like really need to understand. So here's just some pros and cons. So higher satisfaction, I was supposed to delete that one and replace it.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of how that's made.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks.
So for the unexpected changes in platform, what I mean by that is like when you have terms of services, if you're using like Instagram, like YouTube and all these things, and it changes how you've been doing your stuff, it can really affect how you make money. I've seen so many like YouTubers and like Instagram people, they're just like terms of services change and all of a sudden all my videos and stuff got demonetized. And like that can hurt you really bad if that's how you've been making money. Like it can completely up in your life.
Technology too, I mean, to your example earlier, if you're what was it, graphic designer, and then AI comes onto the scene, like all of a sudden your
Right.
lifeblood and your entire business identity is gone.
Yeah. You're just like, I went to school for what again?
Yeah.
You know, so, if any of y'all seen the new AI things that have come out where like you can doodle a web page and show it to ChatGPT for vision, and it writes the code.
Oh.
And you're just like, shit, what was the point of software? You know, so now kids who are growing up with that are going to learn how to doodle, and now I think there's even websites for like ChatGPT vision doodle code, and you know, things like that. And so a little, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds are gonna look at this and just be like, yeah, wrote me all this stuff, I don't know what it means, but I'm sure there's another tool that'll tell me, you know. I know, it's one of those things where you're just like, why did I go to school for that? Why did I, because even Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, he's just like, yes, I know a lot of people are gonna hate me. I know I've been into a lot of industries now, but that's what technology does. So yeah, going over this stuff, you realize like when you're traveling all the time, there's all kinds of things. You know, the pros are just like, you're gonna be exposed to so many communities. So imagine like, if you embrace this lifestyle and your network is all over the world, when you land in a city, most of the time you're just be like, you'll have a place to stay, you know? And you're gonna have like, hey, glad you're here, there's a party next week, we're gonna be doing this, and then somebody's gonna be doing that. You always have stuff to do. When you're a tourist, you're not connected to the community, you're just sort of there to enjoy what they offer, and then you leave. When you're a digital nomad, you're part of that community at that point. And so your friends are everywhere then. So they're always just like, hey, when are you gonna come back to Bali? When are you gonna go, like, give me a place to stay and I'll be there. Okay? It changes your whole lifestyle at that point. And when you save more money, because one, you're saving more money because one, you don't have a house, you don't deal with taxes, you don't deal with utilities, you don't deal with a lot of that stuff. So you have pretty much just whatever it is on you, your clothing, whatever, and then you're very streamlined in your life. Very, very low cost of living, And like I said before, they're more creative and innovative because you're exposed to so many different cultures. There's so many different places. When I talked about like, you know, running companies, if you're good with software development or just ChatGPT, how many places could you go into and be like, I can build that for you real quick. Do you want it? You know, it's like, hey, you're having this problem. I know how to fix that. You know, all of a sudden you're just like, yes, I can do that. When you're here in Austin and you go through your routine, you sort of like push out a lot of like the other stuff that's going on around you. You're just like, okay, I go home, I do my bedtime routine, I watch my, you know, office and in bed by 9, and then that's it. You know, so your creativity just drops tremendously. You know, so. But the other part at the very bottom of the pros is that you're not sitting in traffic anymore. You're not dealing with these long meetings anymore. You're not dealing with all that. So you have way more time for yourself to do things. Way more time. So. But yeah. Any questions? Or, I mean, like, I know it's, but yeah, it's one of those things just to be real. Like when you're traveling, like it's fun, it looks fun, everybody's just jealous of it, and you're like, yeah, come enjoy that, you know? So, yeah, you don't need a lot of money to start. And for that, I have this video that I saw, and I want to play it because this is like very key as to like how she started. Because it's pretty amazing like how she did it. So.
I'm digging my setup, if I may say so. It's currently the beginning of April, and so far this year, I have spent 2 weeks in Australia, campervan in Iceland in winter, doing the entire ring road and the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, went snowboarding in France. I think I might have fractured my tailbone because sitting still hurts, and it's 2 months ago. Went to Belgium, had a 2-week holiday with my mum in Latvia. Fell in love with Estonia, took a day ferry to Helsinki, Finland. Went to Lithuania, did a photography experience tour in Iceland. My first one ever. Back to Riga, as is currently my base because I'm building an online course. More information on that soon. Spent a week with my family in Poland. 2 days ago, I booked a trip to Bali for 10 days. And after Bali, I predict I'll be solo campervanning to the east coast of Australia. It's pretty good to live in the best time possible for accessibility of the world. Flights are incredibly cheap. There's endless information on how to travel depending on your interests, your budget, and so forth. Perfect photo destinations are revealed to you within 1 click of an Instagram search. The world is very open, but you're probably sitting on the other side of this video thinking, but how? You're an influencer, it must be super easy for you. I could never do this. Is this even possible? Well, believe it or not, I wasn't always a travel influencer. I actually started traveling the world by myself, solo, at the age of 18, and basically every single year since I was 18, I've taken 2 to 3 months off to travel the world. No one paid me for it, I did it out of my own money. So in this video, I'm going to be covering how I used to travel the world before I was an influencer, and then how I get paid as an influencer these days. And on that note, one of the ways that an influencer gets paid is through brand sponsorships. So therefore, I would like to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Whether you need a domain website or online store, do it with of your worldwide adventures. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Sorel to save 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website. How to travel the world when you are working in probably a crappy job. It is so much easier than you think. It's even easier these days. It was harder when I was doing it. I did this by working incredibly hard for a period of time and then taking huge chunks of time. I would also save extra money by avoiding buying the latest and greatest things or the fast fashion that I didn't need, or even getting a haircut. Like, I was a tight ass. I wanted to make sure that I was going to be on that plane as soon as possible. And if I had to look bad for a while, I mean, I was working in a bar, so I really didn't mind. Unless you're working for tips, then maybe a haircut is a good idea. Also, because I'm Australian, I have to really commit to travel because taking a 1-week trip as an Australian just didn't make sense because we're very isolated out there. Flights out of Australia are expensive. But if you don't live in Australia or in an isolated place, it's probably way easier for you to just take a week here, a week there, because I'd say that cheap flights are very accessible to you. Just go to nomads.com and see where it takes you. Type in your local airport and then to everywhere and see what the cheapest flights come up as. I also ensured that the jobs I was choosing were very easy for me to quit or put on hold for a little while. And these are the jobs that I chose. I was a bartender for quite a long time, and I absolutely love this strategy because it is so so easy for you to save a good chunk of money and then go abroad, come back and then get your job back. 2 notes on that. You have to work extremely hard so that when you come back, it's really easy for your boss to take you back. And if there's a danger that if they might not take you back at that place, make sure you get a reference. Actually, always get a reference because it's always easier for you to get a future job in a different place. When I was bartending, I also started the process of learning how to freelance work. So with my photography, with my videography, pimp out your skills that you have, make that money, honey. Freelance is going to be your best friend. And lastly, this is the greatest thing. When I was bartending, I learned the art of making money online. You are the only one responsible for learning this skill. And honestly, if you are planning on going into a 9 to 5 normal job, try to think differently about that because that is a very old school way of working and you're not a slave, you're a human being.
Unless you like your job, then continue on your merry way. And also, these results are mine. This is just examples. I'm not promising anyone anything, just that I mentioned.
I took the full responsibility of learning how to make money online. I wanted to make sure that I was working on my own terms. If you want to become a lawyer, a doctor, so forth, obviously it's a little bit harder because you're going to have a full-time steady job. But for me, that was not really of interest to me. I just wanted to make sure that I had my own time, I could do whatever I want, whenever I wanted, and I could still be making money even when I was sleeping. This was a very long process for me to master how to make money online, so I'm not even going to go into it, but start learning now. The sooner the better. Just give it some time. While you're bartending, you can still take time off and still be learning these skills and then perfect it. And one day, even if it takes you to 25 or 30, at least after 30, the world is yours. You never have to get a job again. That's a lot of time that you have to live life exactly how you want to be living. Another way to afford travel when you're working in a bar, for example, is you go volunteering. When I was 18, I worked as a volunteer in Canada for a year, but I also had to prepay this institution that I was volunteering with $6,000. Luckily, times have changed, and now you can just go to these kind of websites, and you can have accommodation and everything for free, and you don't have to pay a fee. See, this is how much times have changed already. Volunteering is genius because during your free time, make the most of it. Go and take beautiful photos, video yourself in these destinations. If you want to become a travel influencer, talk about the area you are in, talk about your volunteering journey, inspire others to do exactly what you're doing. This is another way of how you can learn to make money online, how to become a public figure. This is all part of the process. Once you're on your adventure, you have to make sure that the money lasts as long as possible. So I would take 3 months off, but I wasn't living extravagantly at all. I was a minimalist, so I took very little baggage with me, meaning that I also couldn't buy extra things when I was overseas because it wouldn't fit in my bag. Cheap accommodation, cheap transport, cheap food. There are so many hacks to travel cheap. When you're younger, traveling on the cheap is so much fun because it's all about meeting people, exploring. The world is so exciting. Everywhere you look, it's just, it's awesome. So doing travel extremely cheap is not something to shy away from. It's really fun. Now, would I want to stay in hostels all the time and eat 2-minute noodles all the time? No, but that's just because I'm in a different life stage. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I like a little bit of luxury, you know what I'm saying? To summarize though, if you're brand new to travel and you don't know how to do this and you want to do this more, it's a skill. I can now almost travel with my eyes closed. It's so second nature to me. But when you're first learning, it is overwhelming and you're going to get really emotions, scared, everything. Everything's going to run through your mind. You're going to think you're not able to do it. It's so much easier than you think. So just start. Secondly, how to make money as an influencer. This is what you can look forward to if you go down the path of becoming an influencer. Brand deals, sell my own trips around the world, like the Iceland trips that I put on, sell courses, ebooks, prints online. I sell mentorship in my area of expertise, sell photography, videography skills, and if you want to get extra insights in how to get paid as an influencer, if you're just starting, here is the video for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, hit subscribe.
Alright, so, any ideas from that? So this is one of them that she mentioned. I don't know why it was blocked out, but this one right here is workaway info right here. So if you want to get started on this like right away and you want to see if you can really handle this, basically what they do is they provide you room and board. You come in, you volunteer, you help them out with whatever projects they are, and it's all around the world. You just gotta get there. Once you land, free room and board, and go enjoy, do whatever you want. And yeah, it's a pretty interesting experience. It's a way to start getting you used to just traveling all the time. So when you land, you have a place to stay, you can do some work, connect with people, find the culture, see what the culture is like, and not be worried about like, well, can I pay rent? Can I do this? Can I do that? You know, so there's all that kind of stuff. And then the other one is this one right here. So it's the same concept right here, but this one right here is for organic farms and family homes worldwide. So you might find somebody who's just like, hey, I need help doing something like that. I need help, on the farm building this, plant some stuff here, and in return we'll provide you room and board, things like that. So who would do this? I'm just curious. Who would jump into something like that? Or is this just still too scary? No takers.
Back in the day, I do this in a heartbeat, but I got a 20-month-old twin daughters now, so another factor to consider.
See? Well, just 2 more years and they can help you on the farm.
I know, the world.
So, there's all kinds of, like you said, if you look, you find this stuff, get out there, travel. The hardest part is, like I said, getting used to traveling as a lifestyle. Most Americans don't get that completely. They're so afraid of just like getting on a plane every week, every month, and they're just like, what happens? What if? Once it becomes second nature to you, you're just like, we're going to this place again, you want that problem. So, going back here, yes. And then, where is it? Yeah, so this one right here, one thing you can do right now, just take a short trip within Texas for a week, and test yourself out. Okay, that's the whole point of this program is as the months go on, you want to build a skill to where you can go to some place and pick up clients, pick up work, do your job, things like that. Texas is so huge that most of the time you forget how big this place is because we live here. And most people come here and they're just like, you can never finish Texas. It just takes forever to get out of the state, So if you've never been to Beeville, go visit Beeville. I'm sure nobody's ever been to Beeville because there's no reason to go to Beeville. Why? Because there's nothing there. Odessa. Who's been to Odessa? Exactly. There's only 100,000 a year jobs there in Odessa. It's just where they do oil. So Midland. Who's been to Midland? Exactly. See? So there's all kinds of places to go and visit and try it out, and just see okay, if I'm going to go travel, can I do this as a lifestyle within your own state? Because at least you have a home base to come back to and be like, oh my God, that was so hard. Never doing that again. So yeah, you can try it out, see if it works. But go to Houston, see if you can pick up 3-4 clients, try that out. Try to run your business from there. What does it take to live that lifestyle, so. I'm gonna leave with some resources right here because, this one, let me see, does it take you, yes. This one right here, these are some things, that I have listed. So if you want to take a picture, I also have these little guys right here. So this one, I know I put it on here, so it's second to the last. Basically start to learn how to embrace this lifestyle. So I'll pass it around if you want to check it out. I included this one. Do y'all know who Josh Flagg is? Very famous real estate agent that sold billions of dollars worth of. Okay. Well, anyways, he wrote a book on negotiating. Why am I mentioning this? Because if you're going to start working for yourself, you need to start learning how to negotiate business deals on the spot. How to be able to find clients, do business, things like that. And you need to really understand this lifestyle. It sounds cool and all, but if you cannot understand how to make a deal happen, you're going to struggle. So I'll pass this one along too. But if you want, he's also part of the show $1 Million Listing LA. So that one's a great show. So who here has heard of this book? Click Millionaires. Nobody, right? Yeah, I thought so. So this book right here basically is way before its time of digital nomad lifestyle. And that is, hey, how's it going? So this one right here was written back in the early 2000s. But the reason why I mention this stuff here is because he gives so many great ideas as to how to basically work in your laptop way before this became a thing. And he gives you business ideas, how to structure certain things, how to deal with the lifestyle, how to find what it is you want to do. So you can flip through that, look through it. And then this one just came out. So this is the future normal. basically what our life is gonna start looking like in the next 5 to 10 years. What you can start to expect. So when you read books like this, you're gonna be like, okay, I can start planning ahead, and if you're smart enough, you start building companies that are catered to these new lifestyle changes. You build things, you have a way to start an agency that caters to that, and then once you get used to that, then you can build another stream of income. So.
And now I came in late, I was gonna ask.
Sure.
So all this nomad stuff here and there, the thing for me is, in terms of the administrative and operational, what's it called, requirements, which I'm pretty sure is why some people choose not to go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever explored any providers out there that are looking to use AI to automate some of the decision making and some of the execution and at least schedule stuff, look at stuff ahead, things like that?
So I'll show you one. Yes. So to answer that, I will go to. So a lot of his videos right here, he covers different things about that. As far as like project management stuff goes, that is such a new area for AI to go into that if you can find a solution, you're gonna have a big agency on your hand because it's not been done yet. So like things like Zapier is where like AI could sort of come in and fix things because it can automate so many processes. But if AI can come in as another API to Zapier, as a ChatGPT like installation, you can make millions of dollars doing that stuff. Because all the person's gonna be is just like, I need this, this, and this done. How do I do that? Most of the time you deal with people who have no idea what Zapier is. You know, who here is familiar with Zapier? Who here? Like, okay, good. Like, I'll bring it up real quick. But just think of it like a little tool that just automates like everything. And it just builds automated workflows. So it has like thousands and thousands of like API tools that you can connect to each other. So just think of like a little string, like workflow logic, you know, if you've ever done logic design, then you can build out all these little things and put it behind a pretty little wall, and you click something, and then you get what you want. So who here can build an entire agency system out of that for somebody's need, and be like, hey, whenever somebody fills out my form here, I need it to go into my Google Calendar, I need it to send me a text message, and then I need it to send a reminder to this person, and all of a sudden you just look like a magician. You know? And you can charge for that, because that's a service, you know? So you can build all kinds of different things behind this and run an agency, you know? So why not?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know?
Just like an RPA on steroids?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You know, so if I was you, I would look into just like, okay, if that is the case, then you can go into the pricing model and be like, okay, what do I need to do to basically just get to professional? If it's only going to cost you $50 a month and your return on that is 100x, I don't see $50 being a problem. You know, like it's literally just a logic board. That's literally what Zapier is, a logic board. You know, yes and no, pretty much the whole thing. And because it has so many different interfaces, yeah. Oh, they do have it now. Look at that. They just added AI, chatbot, and AI features.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, so Zapier has done this work over years, when it's really over a decade,
Yeah.
to get companies to connect the data API together.
Yeah, yeah.
So why don't you just, I guess, I don't know how I'm thinking about it, but
Sure.
like have something you create that directly can be offered to the companies,
Sure.
for all the data you just connect directly. Rather than having an abstraction.
Yeah.
Zapier. And I'm only asking because I was having a discussion with someone today.
Right.
Maybe that's what their chatbot does.
So what I would say is if you can figure out a way to do that, put it behind a pretty wall where they don't see anything. And then they go in and whatever it is they do gets them their output. But behind that pretty wall is Zapier. And you charge a lot of money for that. You know? Because that makes sense. So whatever it is, like you're gonna run into all kinds of people, and now that you've discovered this little guy, which is he's just one of 1,000 on the internet, then you can go and be like, hey, you have a problem, I can fix it. Here's my price. If you can write the check, I can get it done. You know? So again, these are things you want to start to explore and learn about, because as a digital nomad, your whole point of existence is to go around, find problems, put the solution into place, get the check, get to Dubai. Get to Dubai. You know? So, but yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that's out there. So going back to, let me see where did I put it. This guy right here, it is crazy, like all the things he comes out with. If you just sat down, like I said, watch his videos, you will be so far ahead of the game in AI stuff that you can literally just run like several different agencies. You understand the process behind it, and at that point you're just like, okay, I can build a 7th company, I can build my 10th company, I can do this, I can do that. And all of a sudden, like, you just outsource it to a team of VAs that all they have to do is just come in and push like 2 buttons. I don't see a problem. Unless somebody does here, please raise your hand. You know? So, but so to give you an idea like how far things have come, yeah, so right here, like generate entire like AI movies, text to film, you know, outputs, prompts like that. Who here has started to watch all the new movies that AI has created using these directors? Okay, great. Did you watch the Pixar version of Predator yet? No? Who here has watched Pixar's version of Predator? Nobody knows it? Are you serious?
No.
Wow, that is crazy. Okay, so, sorry. Yeah, Predator. So, it's very short. Do y'all want to watch it real quick? Because I mean, like, it's all AI. So, yeah, I just got to close it out. Alright.
What if Predator was created by Pixar Studio? The story would open with an old, scary legend that says somewhere deep in the Central American jungle lives an evil creature preying on unsuspecting people. The creature is said to be violent, intelligent, and possess supernatural abilities. Then we'd cut to a group of soldiers led by the skilled and resilient man named Dutch, who are sent on a perilous mission to find and capture this notorious creature known as Predator. Dutch and his team navigate the treacherous jungle, encountering various spectacular and dangerous adventures. However, when they finally encounter Predator, they are surprised to find a creature far different from the legend. Predator is not a menacing predator, but rather a scared and stranded extraterrestrial longing to return to his home planet. Dutch becomes friends with Predator, but despite the creature's peaceful nature, the rest of the soldiers remain steadfast in their mission. Predator possesses extraordinary knowledge and advanced technology, and capturing him could lead to profound advancements for humanity. With a heavy heart, Dutch realizes that friendship is more important than the mission. He secretly forms a bond with Predator, sharing stories and experiences while helping him navigate the jungle and avoid the soldiers. In a climactic final confrontation, Dutch must choose between his friendship with Predator and his loyalty to the soldiers. In a bittersweet ending, Predator manages to evade the soldiers and find his way back home. Dutch, forever changed by the experience, realizes the true meaning of friendship and the consequences of blind pursuit.
Okay. Now, I know how they made that. Who here knows how they made that as well? No? Okay. Any guesses?
There's AI that you can use for like several seconds.
Right, exactly, yeah. So you have...
Then you have either runway or something.
Yeah, runway, you know, things like that, yeah. So then you have, yeah, exactly. So you have all these different ways, like, if you see the first one right there, Alien was a Pixar film. And basically what they're doing is they're going into Dolly or Midjourney and they're showing like, hey, take this image and turn it into what Pixar would create. And then you do that. So if you heard the narrative right there, all you're doing is going into ChatGPT, write a narrative for what a Pixar movie about Predator would be like, and they take that, put it into an AI voice over program, and then just run that over the whole thing. So all of a sudden, you now see that like, I can do that from my laptop. It's probably gonna take me like 30 minutes if I'm lazy. Give an output, I can sell that. You know? So because of all that kind of stuff, what was it? Man. Yeah, there's the other one right there where if it was.
We need to show confidence in a level of sophistication our enemies won't expect.
Now you have like characters talking, you know, action, things like that. So if Predator was done by, you know, Balenciaga, what would that look like?
No other fashion can compare to Balenciaga.
Yeah. So you have all these like tools, you know. It's hilarious. Yeah, absolutely. You know.
Balenciaga will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus just like me.
Sure, yeah. So again, you're like, okay, is this still Predator or are we at a fashion show? You know, and that's the idea.
Entró en nuestros pueblos vistiendo ropas magníficas. Dijo que era de Balenciaga.
I've seen some badass fashion before, man, but nothing like Balenciaga.
I have to take orders just like you Dutch. Just make it easy on yourself and wear Balenciaga.
So you guys know Predator.
Everyone listen to me. Get back to the chopper immediately. We should be here. We are world famous models for Balenciaga, not assassins.
Alright, so you get the idea, you know. So you see a lot of these people now pushing out this stuff, and they're getting lots of hits. They're doing all these things. In fact, if you look at some of the stuff right here, he's got 71, you know, subscribers and 15K views. And he's just sitting down, basically taking still images, recreating them, throwing them and putting them all together in a video editor, and overlaying it with AI created music, AI generated like voiceovers, things like that. They're making money doing that kind of stuff, you know. So right now we're still like what, 1 month away for ChatGPT being out in the world. Okay, it's still 11 months old. We're about to hit next month 1 month. I'm sorry, 1 year. So imagine what's going to happen to the world in 5-10 years with this stuff around. One of the people on they make movies. Basically, they go and they say like, what if we improve the features from Terminator 2 and use technology today? How can we improve it? What would it look like? And they did a panel that really pissed off the movie industry. They said in pretty much 2 years, you're going to be able to look at your TV and say, I want to watch a movie with these actors in it about this storyline. They do this, and in 2 minutes, your movie's right there. This is why the actor strike is going on. Okay? Because they're trying to come in and say, you cannot let our images be used for AI stuff. Unfortunately, AI already knows their images because it's all over YouTube. So it's already there. Now, right now you have people who are already creating mini movies on YouTube and all this stuff. So what's stopping you in 2 to 5 years, 20 years from now to be able to be a full-blown movie studio? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And you come in and you're just like, okay, great. I can produce this, I can make this movie. I don't need film equipment anymore. I don't need an expensive studio anymore. You know, like Robert Rodriguez came in and basically showed it when he did Sin City. If you've ever been to his film studio here in Austin, it's just a green room. And he showed like, hey, I can do an entire movie in just one room. But now AI has come in and said, okay, great, cool. I don't even need that anymore. How many times have you watched Zoom conference calls and you have an AI generated image in the background? You don't even see what's going on in the background anymore, you know? So doing all these kinds of things, it's just like, okay, if you want to be a digital nomad and you have all these new tools at your disposal, what is stopping you from making $1 million a year now? I know it sounds crazy. I know to hear that, but when you read books like, where is it? Yeah, so. Yeah, there you go, yeah. So things like this, yeah, it's one of those things where, oops, let me go back. This book has been around for a long time, you know. She just came out with another book. And I've read this book, I've studied it, I've gone through all that stuff, I've learned like how different people run different like structures in their companies. When you look at how some of these people have just started one-person business and how they basically built their structure, I meet people who sit down and they're just like, well, my company barely makes $10,000 a year. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. I was like, probably because you have like 10 people working for you and your system makes no sense, you know? Like, the point of being a digital nomad is to be extremely lean in your operations and to make sure you know exactly why you have that person working for you. So, yeah, I mean, it still amazes me how many people don't know about this book. It's so crazy, yeah. But yeah. So how many of y'all enjoy that picture stuff? Yeah, I know. I'll tell you one thing that I got hooked on. Did y'all see the Star Wars version you made?
In a galaxy far, far away, prepare for a reboot like never before. This summer, Wes Anderson brings you a side of the Star Wars universe you've never seen before, the Galactic Menagerie. Join this ragtag crew of unlikely heroes as they navigate the absurdity of the cosmos, challenge the Empire, and redefine what it means to be a rebel.
Our mission is simple. We steal the Emperor's artifact, save the galaxy, and maybe find ourselves along the way.
For this mission, we'll need lightsaber, blaster, thermal detonator, paper airplanes, spare parts, and R2-D2.
With a star-studded ensemble featuring the galaxy's most eccentric cast, the Galactic Menagerie is the most delightfully offbeat Star Wars adventure yet. Starring Timothy Chalamet, Scarlett Johansson, Edward Norton, Bill Murray, Jeff Goldblum, William Dafoe, Adrian Brody, and Owen Wilson. Wow. Coming to theaters this summer, may the Force be with you.
Yeah, so you'll see like people have like done all these other ones. So Batman by Wes Anderson, and then you have Jurassic Park by Wes Anderson, and then you have all these different like things, and then you have like versions of like Guy Ritchie who's done like, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean. So what is stopping you from like sitting down and you're like, how do I do this? How do I make these things happen? And how do I turn that into a job? Nothing. Nothing's stopping you unless. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I know this is kind of theoretical,
Sure.
but like for me, it's the paralysis of choice. There's so many ways I could go with this.
Absolutely.
How do I analyze what's going to be the most successful?
Right. There we go. Let's see if I can find this one right here. Okay, so I would say, you know, if you want like this first video I posted right there, they basically show you step by step how to do this. Okay, like you watch this video and he will show you every single tool he used.
I was talking
Yeah,
a little bit higher level, like you can do anything. You can be an accountant, you can be, you know, I guess you face the same problem in everyday life,
Sure.
but it's another layer of trying to do it remotely.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's like analyzing what is successful now, what might be successful tomorrow, and trying to get on that trend before it happens.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And do it, please. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll make you a lot of money.
But that's the problem, is like I keep coming to answers of like, you can do this, you can do that, you can do all these things.
Right.
Just pick one.
I mean, like, why pick one? Because the point of a digital nomad is you want to build silos of companies. Okay, I know many digital nomads who have 30, 40, 50 streams of income. Why is everybody so set on one stream of income? You know? So like build one and then automate it. If you need to put 3, 4 VAs to automate that system and run it, do that.
What do you mean by a VA?
Virtual assistant.
I know, but
You know,
what
so
specifically?
So when you have your company, however you're going to run your company, you put them into whatever parts of that business you need to manage. If it's handling email, and then sending those orders to another person, and making sure those orders get fulfilled. Or if you're having them, okay, thank you so much, yeah. Or if you're having somebody, let's say you're running an AI marketing company, you know.
I'm saying, is this a person?
Yes, yeah, this is somebody you hire around the world.
Okay.
You know, so that way this person comes in, you've done this so many times that you can write a standard operating procedure manual,
Yeah,
and you just push it off to them and say, follow these steps. And then that's it, you know? So what is stopping you from doing something like that? To where like you basically just, you know every step in your business, you push it off to a group of people that just runs it automatically, and then somebody shoots you a progress report and says, hey, this is what's going on. You step in and you check it out. And am I wrong, or am I too far in the future?
I think it's, at least for me, sometimes like the scaling and also finding quality like virtual assistants and
Absolutely,
people
yeah.
to kind of bring in, because I try to outsource as much as I can because I have so much on my plate as a founder myself.
Yeah.
So like sometimes if I'm like trying to almost portray like how I want this to be done perfectly,
Right.
I'm trying to become a little more lenient on this.
Yeah.
Like just like alright, but
Yeah.
I still need things to be done that are like quality virtual assistant tasks, and I feel like that's probably the biggest issue for me.
So there's all kinds of videos that just show you like how to vet, how to start going through these things. Like how do you like dive into like certain job boards in these regions that will get you to where you want to be. I'm sure nobody here pays attention to this world, but like there are entire schools in the Philippines that train VAs. And they have to go through rigorous processes to get accredited, get certified, all these things. Like they spend a lot of money just to get the certification. And they're just like, oh my God, now I can be a VA. Whereas to us, they're just like, okay, you know, that's great, okay, great, good, you know. But they go through a very rigorous process. And now you have to figure out like, can this person do the job that I want them to do? You know, can they handle this stuff? So you send them test projects, you go through the steps, you go through all those things. Did they pass the first test? Great, perfect. Now I'm gonna send you a harder one. Did they do that? Great, okay, I think this is the match I want. Now I'm gonna give you the role that I have specifically designed just for you. And then you fill in the gap. So if your company has a certain structure to it, then you know where to plug those gaps. And then that's pretty much it. And then if you wanna go a step further, then that's when you bring in a project manager to oversee that. And your project manager just checks in on the process. So it's like, okay, did A go to B today? Yes, perfect. Did it go to C today? Perfect, great, awesome, it works. You know, and then that's it. It sounds so simple sometimes. Setting it up is a different story.
Yeah.
But once you're there, and it's automated and it's working, guess what? Now you start another one. You do the same thing all over again, and you build another company. And you keep repeating the process. And then that's it, you know? Are your VAs gonna get tired? Probably not, because they have consistent work, and that's what they're looking for. If they can find somebody around the world that can give them a regular paycheck and pays them well, like, they're gonna give you a great return, you know? So, yeah, I mean, like, it's crazy to think, like, people, I know it's gonna sound weird, go to college when everything is on YouTube. In fact, so many things are on YouTube now that you're just like, you can make so much money learning these skills that it would just be like, okay, why did I pay for a college degree? What was I thinking? Who here knows Bubble? Okay, alright.
So honestly, what's coming to my mind is, it sort of ties back into the question of having sort of assistant for the nomadic lifestyle, and it ties into his question too. So yeah, there's all this information, all these VAs, but how do we pass through it to sort of, I guess, discover our intent? And drive our direction there faster.
Absolutely.
And not, so
I
feel like there's a gap.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it, but there is a gap.
Yeah, because like a lot of times when I tell people like go out and travel, you're gonna find your ideas when you start to travel. Because right now you're so used to a routine. that you have no creativity to think outside of it. Until you get exposed to new environments, to new people, to new places, right now you're not thinking about these things because there's no stimulus for that. If you go and put yourself in Dublin, you know, and all of a sudden you're hanging out at a pub, you're talking to people, they're telling you like, this is what we're trying to do, this is what's happening, and you're like, I can fix that. You don't know that problem exists until you have that conversation. And you're like, I can do that for you. Can you pay this? I can have it to you in 2 weeks. To them, you're a magician walking into the place. To you, it's just another day on the earth, you know? So, Bubble, basically right here, look how long the tutorial is, 3 hours. Could you give yourself 3 hours to learn how to use a no-code environment to build an app?
Sure.
What is the payoff to learn that skill? 100-fold? 1,000-fold? Like, you come into somebody's life and you're just like, hey, build you a custom app just for you. How much would you pay? And yeah, all of a sudden, like, you have a business. You know? Like, I've been building websites and apps for so long, it's so routine. And so when I do stuff like that, it's just like, hey, I can bust out my phone, everything's done on my phone. I get a client, I put them in the pipeline, it goes through the process, done. It's so routine to me. I've been doing it for so long. Now you just have to learn how to get in the habit of this stuff. You know, once you build those kinds of things, it's just like, cool, you know, what else can I do? If you were to get yourself a Bubble like account, I think again that's like what, $50 or something. Yeah, without code. So you go into here, look at the pricing, and you're just like, okay, what do I need to basically just like a starter kit is $30 a month. Are you kidding me? And then it gives you like all those types of things right there. So server logs, you know, $120 a month. Build out like get 2 VAs. Have one do your market lead. Have another one like put everything into a mailing list. Am I missing something here?
Are you starting to see like more virtual assistants like utilize AI tools too?
Absolutely. Like they're going to be using this stuff more because it makes their job easier.
Yeah.
You don't need to know that because like as long as they get their output that you need, that's going to make your business a lot better. You know, so of course, a lot of people now are using ChatGPT for almost everything. It's just like, what did I eat this morning? Oh, that's right, I forgot. You know, so having access to things like this, if you were to like pay for a team and you're charging $10,000, $30,000 to build an app for somebody, remember, a shitty app, a bad app costs $40,000 to build. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Okay? So if you're paying $350 a month for a team to have access to this platform, and all they're doing is drag and drop, you know, logic, you know, workflows, then yeah, you can literally build an entire company out of that on the back end. So that's the whole point of like what it is that I teach. It's just like I come in and just make things really neat and smooth. I fill in the gaps. I'm just like, hey, you're doing it too hard. Let me improve that process. You know.
So are you an AI consultant?
I am an AI consultant. I go through so much stuff. Do I need to know how the language models are built? No. Do I need to understand how a transformer is designed? No. I come in and say, look, I know a tool that you should use. This is what it's going to do. You know. So I've sat down. I did my time to learn this stuff, and the dividends it pays off is totally worth it. Because my days I wake up when I want to wake up. I go and I work where I want to work. I pick the clients I want to work with. I've been doing this for so long that it's just like, okay, well, what else can I do?
Yeah, it's kind of a dual benefit too, because not only does it optimize your own workflows, but it gives you a skill you can monetize.
Yes. In fact, I haven't applied for a job in years because all my work is word of mouth, pretty much. Like I go to tons of events, I build with clients that way as well, but everything is pretty much word of mouth. And as long as you're able to write a number that I give you on a check, we can work together. Yeah. So, but that world is out there, and there are people. I will tell you that I used to come here 10 years ago, networking. They were software developers way before this stuff. They would fly out to Seattle, Silicon Valley, LA. They would go put themselves in high-end parties, and they would meet the people who needed stuff made. They needed a website. They needed an app. They're like, hey, I have an idea. Can you build this for me? Sure, why not? You know? How long is it gonna take? I'll give you a prototype in 6 months. It's like, can you write this number? Can you write this number on a check? If you can do that, we can work together. And then I would meet them, they come back, they have 6 contracts, all 6 figures, working on their own time. 10 years ago, that was. I would meet those people. So now we have AI tools, and we have no-code environments now, like this, that put you at the same playing field as them. So, yeah. So when we get into the next month's part of just like building out your own workflow, finding work, if you want to work for somebody else, I'm going to show you a ton of resources for that. If you want to work for yourself and build your own companies, that's December. And we're going to dive even more into that kind of stuff. And I'm going to show you all kinds of workflows, business organization models that you can really like copy and like paste. And you're just like, shit, if it's that easy, like why am I not doing this? Like why am I not doing this? You know? Like there are people I've met now who they've written so many books, they're just like, who's gonna read all that? You know, like, oh my god. I'm gonna try and find this guy. I'm gonna try, hold on real quick. Guy. Right. 100 books using chat. I think is this the one? Oh yeah, this is the one, okay, yeah. Wow, they took the picture away. Okay, so basically, yeah. How he did it was he stuck to sci-fi novels, and he kept the book links to like I think 30 or 60 pages, and he just sat down and just wrote out like a guideline for the story. And he said, look, I'm gonna write out these storylines, and I just want you to keep following them. And he would put them into small little books, and he would just upload them to Amazon. And I don't know if y'all know this, but in like the first 3 months that ChatGPT got released, Amazon's e-publishing book system got so overloaded with like uploads that it was ridiculous. They were just like, there's more AI books on Amazon than published by actual authors. Oh. So, as I was talking to people, I said, you know what's going to be funny about this? That in 5-10 years, you're going to meet people who are just like, I just wrote my 300th book. I just wrote my 1000th book, you know? And then you're gonna have the conversation just like, how many books did you release this week? It was a slow week, I only did 6, you know? So, it sounds funny now, but I guarantee you that's how it's gonna be in 5-10 years. And if you're not on that train, people are gonna look at you and like, what do you mean you don't have a book written? Like, I don't understand, what's the problem? I was busy last night, I had to take care of the kids. What, they don't know ChatGPT? he was doing his homework, sorry. You know? That's the reality of how things are going. You know, so if you're in denial about that, you're gonna be the guys just like, I don't have any books written. Like, oh, then you can't really hang out with us.
But when there's 7 billion books, who's reading them?
Yeah, you know? So once we start to get further and further into this stuff, all of a sudden, now you're gonna meet the people who are just like, I just wrote 3 white papers. And you're just like, oh, I only wrote 1, so sorry. You know, how long is yours? 60 pages.
I mean, I don't know about any of that. Like the valuable part of all that stuff happens before you feed into the AI.
Sure, absolutely.
So like, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, people can do that, but who's gonna be reading them?
Well, I mean,
are any of them gonna remotely compare to?
But see, that's the thing.
Like a Harry Potter.
No, absolutely, and I understand where you're coming from, but everybody's gonna know at some point we're gonna switch in society where like the majority of the stuff we read is all AI created.
Well,
and if you're the person that wrote it, actually sat down and wrote it, it's like, wow.
I think most of that's gonna come from I have a personalized AI that I'm asking questions and it's delivering it to me in the format that is optimal to me. It's not gonna be because somebody told an AI to write something and I'm finding that for some reason.
Basically, feeding into your data.
Yeah, okay.
You know, because I mean, like, when you write research papers, like, how much effort did you have to go and do all that stuff? You know, it took you time.
Yeah.
why are you gonna still do that when you have AI tools to help you? Are you still gonna do that? Like, are you still gonna put in the amount of effort and work? to
No,
do, like, your
but you
thesis and-
do the
yeah.
important part that actually matters, and then it's like you have a grad student who does the fluff for you.
Sure.
Great.
Great.
Nice, but like, the important part was what you fed it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in a master's program now, bro, and it's changing, and I don't know where it's gonna end up, but it's definitely different, right? So like a 20-page paper, I'll feed it like very much, or I'll ChatGPT now you can have it search the thing and then create thing on the thing that it searched for.
Well, the thing about it too is like, if I have like my thesis and my core data or whatever, and I'm saying use this to write this paper, and then someone's like, oh, I gotta read this paper, I'll feed it to my AI, tell me that. I could have just given them the thesis and the data and had their AI do that. Like there's no point in even writing the paper or writing these books anymore, because the interface is conversational through the AIs, basically.
Hey, so I forgot, we have to be out of here by 8 o'clock. We got this room in 20 quick. I'm glad we actually hit the time, but yes. Please come back again for next month, and we will continue this.
Yes, it is. It's gonna kind of stay in itself where people just stop and matter about I need at some point.
So I have a after I did this.
Hey guys, inside the room.
What's your name? I've just been doing like trips like that, and slowly trying to like, yeah. One of the things they talked about was really in terms of like how to travel affordably. Is like the most expensive part of travel, the way we do it now is you're flying somewhere.
I guess I was kind of confused. I thought this was going to be mostly like people who are. Yeah.